Since starting this channel in 2020, I have gained almost 250,000 subscribers and started making over $100,000 a year in just 3 years. Which is crazy. I have no idea how much money I'm gonna make this year. It could be 150K, it could be 200K, I don't know yet, but I am now in this immensely fortunate position where I get to do this full time. I'm a full-time creative. I can make these videos in my oil paintings, not have any other distractions in the way, and it's fantastic, and I love it, and it's a great job. I'm so, so grateful, but when I look back on that journey, I see so many mistakes, so many missed opportunities, so many things that I would change if I had the opportunity to go and do it all over again. And that's what I want to talk about in this video. I want to talk about the 5 things that I would do differently if I could start from scratch. And I want to say thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. And stay tuned to the end for this one because I'm gonna share some really cool news about a cool event that I have coming up. So the first thing that I would do differently is to be more consistent early on. It took me a good like 6 or so months to be consistent here on YouTube with posting once a week. And as soon as I did start doing that, as soon as I was consistent, I was growing a lot faster. And I wish that I had just done that sooner. That's 6 months of wasted time. Six really valuable, sorry, my bangs are really doing something. 6 valuable months of wasted time that I will never get back. And as soon as I started being more consistent, posting once a week, and being very deliberate about trying to get better with each upload, like consistently growing and improving my skills, that's when I started to see the benefits, the performance, the growth, basically. And looking back, I wish that I had been more consistent in not just posting during that first 6 months, but in my art throughout all of this time. Around like 2021 and 2022, I started to deprioritize my art in favor of making videos and growing here on this platform. And it's hard for me to say that I regret that looking back because it gave me the platform that I have now. But I do kind of regret it, and I wish that I had made different, better choices, and I know for a fact that I would be a better artist today if I had made my art more of a priority then, and I'm having to be very, very, very deliberate about doing that now, and I just look back and I'm like, "Man, like, I wish that I had just been better." I wish that I had just been better and that I had just, um stayed true to myself more, I guess, because it's very difficult when you have an idea of what works for you and it's not the thing that you feel most passionate about. It's not the thing that kind of fuels everything because my art, it does fuel literally everything. This business would not exist without it. So deprioritizing that and different periods over those 2 years was very dangerous. It was really risky. I didn't even consciously realize that I was doing it, which is like the most dangerous part almost. But I really, really regret that. I wish that that had never happened. The second thing that I would do is to run my social media like a business and not like an individual. So there are kind of 2 different ways that you can think about posting on social media as an artist, right? You can think about it like an individual. You are experimenting, you're just kind of hanging out. It's just vibes, right? You're not really trying to necessarily grow an audience or be very deliberate about your content. You're just kind of posting stuff, seeing what sticks. Maybe you have a strategy, maybe you don't. But when you're operating your social media accounts like a business, right? You are making content for your target audience or your ideal customer. 2 different groups of people, possibly, or, hopefully they're just different parts of the same group, but it's very deliberate, right? You are creating content and products for an audience. You're not going to feel bad about selling things to them because you are a business. Your job as a business is to sell things. You need to sell things in order to have money, and that's how you grow the business. You know how businesses work. I don't need to explain this to you, but it's a different mindset shift from an individual, right? When you are an individual, you're so caught up in your own head. You're thinking about, "Oh my god, they're going to think less of me. They're going to feel bad when I sell to them. They're going to hate me forever. They're going to unfollow me. They're going to think that I'm being too salesy. They're going to worry that I'm too artificial." But when you're a business and when you are selling from a confident, authentic part of yourself, you're not worried about boring someone. You're not worried about bothering them. You know, for example, that only a fraction of your followers see every single post that you make. And those people will hopefully, because that that's your target audience and you're creating products that are relevant to them, won't be bothered by this because they see it as like selling as serving them. You are genuinely building and recommending a product they will enjoy that will either provide some kind of value, be it educational value, entertainment value, desire fulfillment, whatever, and that's benefiting them in some way. So it's not a bad thing. That's kind of the mindset shift that I wish that I had had, and I'm still kind of developing in myself. I know all these facts, but like, you know, talking the talk is one thing, walking the walk is a different thing. It's just kind of the way that it is, right? But it's a huge mindset shift and it is so, so beneficial from a sales perspective to approach your social media like you are a business owner. The third thing that I would do differently is to prioritize my email list. I get a lot of really weird, confused comments whenever I talk about email lists on this channel. And I get it. A lot of you guys are younger, right? And you don't see the value in email lists. But look at it this way: Instagram's new AI changes are pissing a ton of people off. Probably you. They're bad changes. Like, genuinely. They are making some bad choices right now. And there's a reason that these alternative platforms are gaining traction. But you know what's the only last bastion of chronological timelines on the internet? You know what platform you actually own your audience on? It's email. Email is a chronological timeline. It is also a platform where you own your audience, right? That list, that spreadsheet of names, emails, that is yours forever. You can move to whatever email marketing distributor or platform you want to and take that email list with you. It is always yours. It's always a thing that you are going to have access to. And that is so, so game changing. It is so game changing. All of these platforms, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, it's borrowed land that you're building on. It's not yours. An email list is yours. And that's why it is so, so powerful. It doesn't have to be super complicated. It could have been like an email newsletter that I sent once a week. It could have been fancy email sequences or just a little reminder here and then a couple times a year. But I wish that I had been so much more deliberate about not just collecting emails and having a strategy there, like a real, genuine strategy, and not just like a link in the descriptions of my videos, but I wish that I had been better about actually sending emails and cultivating that relationship. It is such a hard habit for me to implement now. I am still working on this habit, this change, but I wish that I had it years ago. I think that I would be in a different level income wise and audience wise and fulfillment wise if I had just really prioritized email lists as a part of my business. And it's easy for me to say this and look back on these time periods and be like, yeah, I wish that I had done X, Y, or Z, like with all the infinite time that I can imagine in retrospect. But I really do think that email list building would not have taken up too much of my time and it would have been really, really valuable time spent. And I really do regret not doing that. I think that was a huge mistake. The fourth thing that I wish that I had done differently is to have some kind of regular product development and launch schedule. So, right now in my business and historically, I have been very kind of haphazard, right? Very like spur of the moment, like I have this idea in the shower, let me build this Notion template or this print collection and let me launch it in like, a really short time frame. And that isn't great, right? It's not very cohesive feeling, at least from my perspective. I do my best to make sure it looks like I know what I'm doing like after the fact, but it's not great. And I have been very haphazard about launching and developing products. And I think that this lack of a consistent schedule is meaning that I'm leaving money on the table. like I look back at 2022, right? 2022, I was gaining so much traction online. My growth rate was exponential in terms of videos. I was posting these videos and they were doing so well. Like my top 10 heavy hitters to this day are predominantly from that period. And I just think, I look back and I think I left so much money on the table by like not launching a product, by not taking advantage of that audience that I had, by not creating something they would have found valuable and selling it to them. It could have been 5, 10, $15. It didn't have to be expensive, but I could have made tens of thousands of dollars of extra revenue if I had capitalized on the opportunity that was that period. If I had just taken advantage of what was already in front of me. I hate that I didn't do that. It makes no sense to me looking back, and it makes me angry. Honestly, it kind of pisses me off. But I really want to, going forward, not make that mistake and have a consistent product development and launch schedule. It is all too easy to make one Notion template or one workbook or one print collection and be like, yep, all right, we did it, boys. We did the work for the year. I don't ever need to make a new version of this workbook or this Notion template. When in reality, it's like, actually, no, you should be iterating and improving on your products every couple of months, especially if you are an educator. And if you're an artist that is just selling prints and originals and like products and stuff, you should be releasing new stuff on like some kind of schedule, right? It should be like a couple times a year on like a regularly scheduled basis. You should have some kind of structure to your existence as an artist, even if it's just for the purpose of having some kind of regular expectation of additional revenue, some kind of way for you to like financially plan the year with your accountant so you know like how much to pay for quarterly estimated taxes. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like the little things that make a huge difference in business. I wish that I had done something better during 2022, but it's too late. And now I can only look back on that period and decide to do better. Which, speaking of, I am currently working on two different products. One is like a big Notion template, and the second one is actually a live virtual 3-day workshop. So I am going to be leading this 3-day event, basically designed to help artists gain clarity on their goals and write a business plan in just 3 days. It's going to be hours of interactive lectures, practical demos, walkthroughs, interactive worksheets, office hours, and so much more. It's going to be a huge, value packed, information packed weekend. And that would not be possible without my website, which I used for the sales pages for this workshop, this event. And my website is run by Squarespace, the sponsor of this video. Squarespace is one of the absolute best website builders on the internet, but they're also so much more than that. I have been running my online store on Squarespace for ages now. You can also write a blog, have a portfolio, or even run an online course with their new course features. A few weeks ago, I wanted to start offering paid mentorship and coaching, which is by far my most requested product or service. Using Squarespace, I was able to really quickly create a sales page, display testimonials, and even send an email announcement all within Squarespace. Their fluid design engine makes designing websites an absolute breeze, and their intuitive drag and drop features and color palette ability just makes my website look so good and so cohesive, and most importantly, so easy to update. If you want a website that will grow with your business and help you make more money, I think it's worth giving Squarespace a try. You can go to squarespace.com/Kelsey Rodriguez or use Kelsey Rodriguez at checkout to get 10% off your first order of a website or domain. To kind of finish up my earlier point, the huge caveat with kind of mistake number 4, not launching products on a regular schedule, is that you do need an audience to sell things to, and you do have to make products they will actually want to buy. That is a really important step. I've made a lot of videos on that, but I do want to mention it because it's easy to say, like, yeah, I wish I had launched more products, but it's harder to actually develop those products and make things that people will actually want. I do think that I still had a lot of missed opportunity in the early years of my business by not launching products. I think I was fumbling a massive bag, to be honest. But product development does take time and deliberate action, and you have to know who your audience is, who you're actually making products for. It could be art prints, it could be plushies, it could be bookmarks, it could be an art book, it could be a blanket, or it could be tutorials or a course or some kind of, educational product, whatever that means for you. But launching something consistently every 3 to 6 months, I really feel like would change my life and the life of so many of you guys if you were just a little more deliberate with how you launched things. And actually having like some kind of marketing schedule to go along with that. It is not just enough to make the product. You have to actually tell people about it, which is a really, really important second step there. But anyway, yeah. The last thing that I would do differently if I could do everything over again is just to set stricter boundaries with my time. The reality as a small business owner that does everything myself is that there's just infinite work. There is just so much work. The work never ends. I could be doing a million things. Today, I launched the workshop. I wrote a bunch of emails. I had a coaching call with a client. I am scripting and now filming and later going to edit this video. And that is a lot of work to do in one day. And I have to be really deliberate about not overworking myself, right? And not just letting work consume my entire life because I do want to have a life. I want to spend time with friends and family and like my loved ones. It's important to me that I do that and I get my best ideas, be it for my art or for, my business when I am at rest, when I am relaxing. And this is a thing that I'm a lot better at now, especially now that I work in an office. Like this is not my house, this is an office that I pay for. And that means that I go to the office, I do work, and then I finish the work and I leave the office. And I leave all of my work items here in the office. And there's a mini fridge, but like there's not a lot of food in the mini fridge. I'm not going to sleep here. That's against my lease, right? I can't like live in this space. I have to actually go home. That means that I do have a lot of like more stricter kind of work hours than I ever have before. Before this, I always worked from home in like a spare bedroom or my living room, wherever, but I always was home when I was working basically. And it was really, really easy in those first years to just work constantly, to, wake up at like 6 a.m. and start my workday and have breaks in between, but not finish, work until 11 p.m. or like midnight. Just letting that bleed over into everything. I was never fully at rest. There was always stuff that I could do, and there was always the ability for me to go and do those things. Unlike now, where I literally can't edit a video once I'm home because I don't have the equipment to do that. Setting those boundaries is so, so important because it means that I can actually rest when I'm supposed to rest. And man, that shit's good. It's good to have that in your life. Kind of a rambly video. I apologize for that. That's a little bit my style lately, but I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that these mistakes are things that you can get value out of and learn from and not make like I made. And I hope that you attend that workshop that I mentioned, that 3-day workshop. It's going to be value packed with a ton of stuff. It's from July 12th to 14th, and you can find more information about it in the description. And thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. They are truly an amazing creative partner. I would not be full-time probably without them. They're so great. And yeah, that's all for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.